Bitcoin, unfortunately, isn't looking so hot right now. So we need to step back and reassess our data-driven approach to make sure we can react accordingly when the time is right. So we'll get straight into it here on the MVRV Z-score chart we have here on BitcoinMagazinePro.com. Now, if you weren't already aware, Bitcoin's not doing so great right now. We've had a little bit of a retracement, you could call it, beneath $100,000 and some key moving averages. And because of this, I have changed my base case for the upcoming near-term future for Bitcoin to have less than a 50% probability that we match new all-time highs. Now, I'm pretty flexible on this. If we start reclaiming some key levels, maybe we already have by the time you've watched this, because I filmed this immediately after filming the last video because I'm still traveling back from Amsterdam, which was a great conference, by the way. If you haven't seen my presentation, please do. Well, I say my presentation. I can't take the credit. I was just the moderator. Everyone else on there was considerably smarter, more intelligent, more charming than I ever can be. But what this video is looking towards is the fact that because we're now seeing Bitcoin in macro conditions that are pointing towards further downside, at least for me, buying the dip isn't my default approach right now. We're already in a dip, especially as I film this. Maybe we've rebounded, maybe we haven't, who knows. But buying the dip during a bear market isn't always what you want to do. Of course, you can get some cheaper Bitcoin, but you might have bought the dip here and here and here, and we bought them much lower than all of those dips. We have bear market rebounds and rallies, which is just typical in all markets. So because we're not in a bull market where we're not going to have this rebound, you might be buying at considerably higher prices than you ideally want to. Now, there is a caveat to this, and especially if we don't see a big bear market rally, and my entire thesis and analysis is wrong, which I'm kind of hoping is the case, and we do start reclaiming some major averages, this is why I have just bought this dip, just in case. But if we start seeing further dips, I'm not going to be accumulating until we see a more confirmed macro confluence bear market low looking territory dip. So of course, something like the MVRV Z-score is a pretty decent way to kind of analyze where we may be in the market. And if we look to this realized cap, we can see this is the realized cap rather than just the realized price, so it probably doesn't make as much sense. But if we just go to the realized price of Bitcoin, once we start getting beneath this, once the MVRV and MVRV Z-score are starting to point towards the fact that a majority of Bitcoin is being held at a loss when looking at the UTXO, the average accumulation cost basis, last transferred price, of all UTXOs, which is currently around $56,000, coinciding pretty nicely with where the 200 weekly moving average is, about $55,000. Anywhere around there is an unbelievable Bitcoin accumulation opportunity. Now, we don't know how long Bitcoin could be in this period of chopping, consolidation, and drawdown, and these are moving up every single day. So there's a good chance that by the time we reach these levels, they're going to be much higher. $60,000, $65,000, $70,000 potentially. Anywhere around these levels though, as I said, it's better to react than predict. Whenever we're near them, at whatever price that is, that's a good area to be accumulating Bitcoin. But like I said, we want to see confluence in the market. As much as these technical and fundamental on-chain levels are great, we also want to see a few other things alongside that. If we start seeing the value days destroyed in this very low green territory, then that's a good indication as well that just from a supply and demand economics perspective, then Bitcoin may be nearing a bottom in price, because realistically we might not reach this low. As I stated in the last video, the electrical cost of Bitcoin is around $70,000. The average accumulation price of MSTR strategy and the ETFs is somewhere around $75,000. So if we get to those regions, which again align pretty nicely with some technical levels on the Bitcoin price action, given where we spent a huge amount of time chopping and consolidating throughout this cycle already, then again, I might start changing my tune if we're getting some confluence from some other metrics. As I said, I don't foresee this Bitcoin bear market, if we are in a bear market, being as brutal as the previous ones. Number one, because the bull market was much more subdued. The volatility we saw to the upside was considerably lessened compared to previous cycles. Therefore, it makes sense that the Bitcoin bear market will be a lot more muted than previous cycles. If you look to all of Bitcoin's previous bull markets, we had big exponential rallies in price action. If you just take 2017, for example, of course, we had big pullbacks of 30, even 40%, but we were rallying very fast. So you get these big gaps, essentially, in the price action where there's not a great amount of liquidity. So as Bitcoin, for example, here ran from $3,300 to about $7,000, there was very little time or volume of trading occurring within that region between about 3,200 and, well, we dipped to around $6,000. So we'll say around 3,200, around $6,000 because there was a bit of volume here. There wasn't a great deal of volume or time for Bitcoin spent between those prices. So then when you look at Bitcoin's bear market, you can see we went from around 6,300 to around 3,200 very, very rapidly, because there just wasn't these levels where people had previously accumulated and thought, you know what, if I can start accumulating back at where I last bought in, or if there's a huge amount of volume around this level previously, then again, there's more interest at these prices. If Bitcoin starts getting to levels and periods where we've already had a huge amount of kind of chopping and consolidating, there's a good chance that there's going to be some buy pressure there. Because again, if you were buying Bitcoin in this region, you maybe set some buy limits. Sorry, I got there in the end. Potentially just beneath these lows and just beneath where we dipped. So you may have already left those in. So there's going to be a huge amount of buy pressure in this region, probably between $70,000 and around $55,000, $60,000. So as I said, we might not reach these key technical levels. This is why we need to be reactive, especially looking at this Bitcoin bull market, which resulted in practically no topping indicators flashing to say, start taking some profit now. We need to be adaptive and realize that the market isn't going to be kind to us. If it was easy, everyone would be making money in Bitcoin. The reality is, not that many people really are. So if we can react to the market, and if we start seeing something like the value days destroyed really bottoming out, indicating that the largest and most experienced market participants have stopped transferring their coins, have stopped distributing, then again, that's a good indication. Right now, even as Bitcoin's price is decreasing as I film this, the value days destroyed is increasing, which gives me some indication that more people are seeing this bearish negative price action and are more willing to offload. Now, there is again a bit of a caveat to this. A lot of these data points are slightly nuanced and require a little bit of interpretation. As I said, if it was easy, everyone would be making millions. But what you can see with the value days destroyed as well is after we get these long periods of green, very minimal whale, long-term experienced holder activity on the network, once we actually get these capitulation events, we see capitulation, not just from retail participants, those paper-handed, new capital inflow people, but these long-term holders as well also start transferring Bitcoin at these prices. So just because we have a big increase doesn't necessarily mean that we're not at a Bitcoin bottom. It just means we're at a big turning point, especially when it increases very rapidly. But especially if it's coincided with some technical levels after a long period of very minimal long-term whale activity, then again, this gives us some indication. And along with that, the hodl waves as well. We really want to see this be trending to the upside. We've already seen on multiple instances this cycle. Now you can look at the hodl waves, you can look at the long-term holder supply. If this is in a constant downtrend, if the long-term holder supply is constantly decreasing, it's just not great from a supply and demand economics perspective. We need to see the hodl waves and the long-term holder supply ideally trending upwards. Less people selling, more people willing to hold for the future in anticipation of higher prices. But again, there's the same kind of slightly nuanced thing you need to take into consideration, is that when we do get these huge capitulation events, even if you've been in Bitcoin for a long time, there's a good chance you might be a little bit scared and freaked out if we have a 50% drop in a very short space of time. So it makes sense. And as well as that, you're going to see new people who have maybe been sidelined for an incredibly long period with new wallets, transferring Bitcoin, accumulating Bitcoin from exchanges. And at that point, again, the hodl waves, long-term holder supply is going to decrease just naturally because new market participants are going to come in because they've seen the opportunity. So alongside all of that as well, there is a few other things that are pretty hallmark, key identifiable things that are fairly reliable that Bitcoin is getting to a point of accumulation rather than distribution. And that is looking at the derivative market. If we can see a huge amount of shorting on Bitcoin, lots of people anticipating further downside, That's a fairly good indication. If we look to the spent output profit ratio, which actually looks fairly similar to the funding rates when you look at it like this, if we see lots of people, again, realizing losses, selling Bitcoin at a loss, then that's a good indication that people are scared. People are capitulating. These are what really mark bear cycle lows. Right now, we're seeing very little realized losses on Bitcoin, which isn't an ideal thing. We want to see lots of people start panic selling. And at this point, we can see the more experienced hands accumulating that Bitcoin that's been panic sold, but we haven't seen that yet. And alongside that, something like the active address sentiment indicator, once we see a big dip beneath this lower deviation band, and then we can reclaim this band, indicating that the Bitcoin price action has maybe moved too far down, considering the fundamentals, considering the actual network utilization, then that's a pretty good indication. But if we're seeing this orange line, the 28-day percentage price change in Bitcoin trending to the downside, alongside the network users trending to the downside, that's not a great look. But once we dip beneath and reclaim, that's a more positive indication that the Bitcoin price action may be forming a bottom, like we can see again in this 2018 bear cycle low. Just because we've dipped beneath this band doesn't mean we can't dip significantly further beneath this band. When we reclaimed this, the Bitcoin price had rebounded, 5, 10, 20%. Keep in consideration as well, just because there's lots of indications flashing that we're at or near a bear cycle low, doesn't mean you're going to buy the actual bear cycle low incredibly accurately. How many people saw this Bitcoin bull market top very accurately? Very, very few. Also keep in consideration, you're not going to buy the exact cycle low, but that's fine. That's normal. The other instance we need to be paying attention to is if I'm wrong, and I hope this is the outcome, that we don't see Bitcoin in a bear cycle, and we don't have to be watching for all of these metrics in confluence to say Bitcoin is bottoming out. Ideally, what we're going to see is a rebound in the Bitcoin price action, but this isn't my base case. And Bitcoin start reclaiming some key levels, $100,000, the short-term holder realized price. If we go to TradingView, the 365-day moving average. If we can start reclaiming these, and not just temporarily, because there's a good chance, again, I'm filming this a couple of days in advance, I'm anticipating a bit of a rebound in the Bitcoin price action. If we just rebound to these levels for a day or two, that's not an immediate confirmed indication. Like we could see as we recently dipped beneath this 365-day, when we first came down to this level, we actually had multiple days where we rebounded from it, which is to be expected. And after we had these rebounds, again, this didn't necessarily mean that just because we'd had a couple closes beneath it, that immediately was bearish. What we don't want to see is a retest, a bearish retest. So what we could see when we actually finally broke beneath this 365-day, the Bitcoin price came beneath it, we were wicking above, and then immediately we didn't even have the chance to come back up. The sell side pressure was too strong. In all of these instances, even though we were seeing wicks to the downside, immediately following that, Bitcoin was rebounding above, indicating that there was a lot of buy pressure. Unfortunately, though, it did not last, and that's what ultimately resulted in the Bitcoin price action going to the downside. So if we can start seeing some bullish reclaims of key moving averages, key psychological levels, key on-chain and fundamental levels, then that's good. But alongside that, what I'd also like to see is, given the fact Bitcoin's correlation to US equities has been incredibly strong, I don't want to look at the S&P 500 and see we're entering recessionary territory. I don't want to see this trending to the downside. As I film this, we're at a point where we could be on the cusp of rebound, but very easily as well, we could see this start trending in a more macro downtrend. If we see something like we saw, for example, here in early of this year, and we see a more major sustained over multiple months, even if we're starting to see Bitcoin start reclaiming some key levels, starting to show a little bit of a transition and a turn for a more bullish period of price action, but alongside that, we're seeing US equities, the US economy, global indexes start having these bearish moves to the downside, lower highs, lower lows, just losing some key technical levels. That's not a great look. An easier way to look at this, rather than just purely looking at the S&P 500 or gold, is if you look at these ratio charts, which is something that we've been really keen on this entire cycle. And again, is something we maybe should have paid more attention to, especially as we were seeing this divergence with Bitcoin making a lower high versus gold before moving to the downside. Even though versus USD, we were actually moving higher, the underlying strength and purchasing power of Bitcoin was really looking quite weak. So we live and we learn. But if we're starting to see Bitcoin rebound, and again, we're thinking, this isn't looking too bad. We're starting to see some momentum here, some positive shifts, but we're actually reaching some key levels of resistance on these ratio charts, then again, this isn't something that we immediately want to see. This isn't something that we're going to look towards and say, okay, great, now we need to pile into Bitcoin, the trend has changed. This might just be a relief bounce, a temporary dead cat bounce before we see further rotation out of BTC as people take advantage of that relief rally. These videos aren't as fun to make as the bullish videos. It's much more enjoyable talking about how high I think Bitcoin could go, or we really should be accumulating now. I hope it's not a very long bear market because it's just not nearly as fun. So just to summarize, since Bitcoin has broken below a number of key levels, I've altered my approach to be more defensive with my trading and investing. As I said in the previous video, which if you haven't watched, why not? It was a great video. Well, define great. I think it was an insightful video. But from a purely quantity of Bitcoin perspective, I'm not too stressed. From a fundamental underlying strength of Bitcoin as a technology and a monetary phenomenon, I'm not bearish. But from a purely short-term price action driven perspective, I'm a little bit more defensive. I'm not buying every single dip because I don't necessarily think we're in a bull market anymore. So I'm awaiting instead for a more bullish macro confirmation of a trend change or clear indications with multiple sources of confluence that we're at major lows before once again aggressively reaccumulating Bitcoin. I want to get the most bang for my buck, and I want some confirmation and high probability that I'm accumulating just before Bitcoin's prices begin increasing. I don't want to buy and see Bitcoin continue to move 20, 30, 40% further to the downside over many, many months. I just don't want to do that. Of course, it's easier said than done, as we could see from the bull market. But again, sometimes you can make the right decisions and still be wrong. This is just the reality of investing. Like I've said, it's not easy. If it were easy, you wouldn't be paid millions, tens of millions of dollars to work at the world's biggest funds to increase the margins by a couple of percentage. You wouldn't see the world's smartest physicists and mathematicians going into quantitative trading at the world's biggest firms, because it's not easy. And especially now that Bitcoin is becoming a more institutionally driven and influenced asset, we need to acknowledge it's probably going to be a lot harder going forward as well. But hopefully this has given you some insights on my current viewpoint on the market, where I think we could be going, how I think we could react, and at what points I'm going to start changing my tune to start more aggressively accumulating Bitcoin. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting few weeks and months ahead. As I said, I really hope I'm wrong. But as always, let me know your thoughts below in the comments and on social media. I look forward to reading and replying to them. And as always, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.